Right folks, welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather, and just quickly going to talk about the latest Sledge from Mitch Robinson, directed at Tom Lynch of Richmond. Everybody's seen the footage of Tom Lynch going up to the Gold Coast Suns player and trying to jump in his face, and the Suns player just stands there like that and doesn't react. He's done a couple of niggly things during that game, which is, I believe he's been cited for. Just really trivial, petulant little things, which I've read loads of comments. He fancies himself as a bit of a hard man, Tom Lynch. No matter what you think about the personality of Tom Lynch or the sort of petulant stuff that he's been doing, the niggling stuff, like agitating people, he is a top player, there's no doubt about that, in my opinion. But not in the opinion of Mitch Robinson. Look at this. He went to a good team to get success, that's what he did. He went to a Premiership team and he thinks he's that good. He just does my head in, he's a wanker. Not mincing his words whatsoever, Mitch Robinson of the Brisbane Lions. And do you know what I think about this? Absolutely brilliant. I loved every bit of it. I love the fact that you've got players willing to talk out and hurl abuse at opposition players. It adds spice and fire to the competition. Mitch Robinson is one of the more physical players in the competition. He's tough. He doesn't mince his words like that I've just read there for that example. He's a straight shooter. He's a man's man type player, if you know what I mean. An honest, hard-working, grafting player. Doesn't dazzle you with the fancier side of the game, but does the more physical, tougher stuff in the game up there with the very best in the competition at it. I like him, and I've got no problems with people speaking their mind. See, to be honest with you, do I like nigglers and agitators and people doing stuff off the footy, trying to wind up opposition players? I don't really mind it. I don't particularly want to see people doing petulant stuff, because it is quite mansy-pansy type stuff. But I absolutely condone the response from Mitch Robinson. It puts a bit of fire in it all. If these two meet each other now in the finals, it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen. Will there be big tackles going in on each other, big hits? Are they going to get fired up, hot round the gills at each other? I don't know what way it's going to pan out, but I absolutely love the fact that he's not mincing his words, and he's actually threw obscenities at him as well. It's brilliant to see. It goes against protocol. It goes against the robot type procedures that you're supposed to say in any sporting stage that you might be on. A professional athlete should never sort of break the mould of what you're being advised to do and say, and he goes against the grain with all this, and I like that. It shows a bit of personality. It shows that he cares about the sport enough to speak about somebody else in this way. Whether or not you think Tom Lynch went to Richmond as a glory hunter type player, and he's not and basically read from that, you're a wimp, you know what I mean. Whatever you think of it, I just find it refreshing that somebody's willing to speak their mind and say these stuff about other players. And you know what? I cannot wait, as I say, to see the reaction now when these two go head to head, because I'm sure both teams will be in the finals. Whether or not they'll play each other will remain to be seen at this point. However, two really good teams. The Lions have been pretty hot this year, sitting second in the ladder right now. Just double check that. Richmond are sitting 6th right now, but I'm pretty sure both teams will finish in the top 8 and be playing finals footy this year. So obviously I think they've played each other already, haven't they, in the ladder so far. But Richmond did beat the Lions in that one, I think. So there is, as I say, there is still an opportunity for these two to go head to head against each other. So it adds that bit of, that extra dimension, that bit of fire and bit of spice to the fixture as well. I love rivalries between players and different clubs, etc., and this just adds to it. AFL is Aussie rules. It's meant to be a really, really tough sport, a man's sport, and obviously the snowflake media, the people who are permanently offended are going to think what Mitch Robinson and indeed Tom Lynch have been doing is absolutely disgusting. But I don't. I absolutely love it. It's like the Toby Green scenario. Loads of people hate him for the stuff that he does. I mean, he's really dirty. He's almost injured people with really, really dirty stuff like the eye gouging, the high studs, etc. But let me put this to you. How many supporters from other teams who Toby Green does not play for would want him in their side? Because I'll guarantee you every single one of you would want a Toby Green in your side. Not only is he a wind-up merchant and annoy people, it's actually entertaining to watch in some aspects too. It gets loads of talking points to come out about Toby Green, but all that stuff aside, he is a phenomenal footy player, and I reckon he would walk into any team in the AFL with the exception of none. He would literally walk in and he's top player. I hold him in that regard. Take personality and your feelings towards a guy completely out of it and look at it from a sort of professional footy player. Look at it as just a professional footy player, regardless of the petulance, regardless of the personality, regardless of it all, and that's a top player you'd all want in your side. And I actually would want him in my side anyway, noising up the opposition. I condone certain parts of people being agitators to an extent. I don't like eye gouging, very dangerous play, and you don't want to see people putting high studs into people's faces. I don't mind a little bit of fisticuffs though. I don't mind a bit of biff. I don't mind a bit of big hits. Big tackles, I'm all for that, but kind of in the most fairest way possible, where you both stand a fighting chance. So anyway, that's my views on the escalating story, I'd imagine, between Tom Lynch and Mitch Robinson and the Brisbane Lions. Love to see how this one's going to pan out, and I'm sure there will be more to come, because let's see what Tom Lynch has to say back at him. Anyway, thanks very much, troops. I'm going to be doing a video very soon, ranking 18-1 of the Sir Doug Nicholls round for the Indigenous Guernseys. I'm going to be ranking the Indigenous Guernseys and what I think is obviously from my least favourite. I wouldn't say worst because none of them are bad, but my least favourite to my very favourite, obviously in first place. I did do it last year. It was just a bit of fun, and that's coming very soon. So I'll see you in a bit. Good luck everyone, and goodbye. Bye.